So there is a new tentative deal between Democrats and Republicans to avoid another government shutdown. According to reports, the two parties have reached an agreement in principle over border security to fund the U.S. government and avert another partial government shutdown. Now, the shutdown, of course, was disastrous for the GOP, so they're obviously in no position to want to repeat that. Trump, however, well, okay, let's dive into that and see if Donald Trump is interested in signing this. Now, the agreement contains a fraction of the money that Donald Trump wants for the promised border wall and actually doesn't mention a concrete barrier. So right now, according to details from aides familiar with the negotiations, we have $1.375 billion in funding for 55 miles of new border fencing. Now, the barrier would be built using designs such as metal slats instead of the concrete wall that Trump had demanded. Now, I'm not a math magician, right? But $1.375 billion is a lot less than 5.7. So that's what Donald Trump had asked for. That's what he shut down the government for last time. And not only that, but that 5.7 billion would not even build a majority of the wall. It would actually build only a very small section. So this is far from ideal for Mr. Trump, right? So, So basically, the president could sink this at any time because it's not what he had been asking for. Now, there was also an agreement in here, I guess, for the Democrats, that would reduce the number of beds in detention centers from 4,250 from the current 49,057. Now, look, those are the details we know so far. Okay. All right. So there might be other details that come out later. This is a tentative agreement, again, an agreement in principle. So there might be things added to it, or maybe taken away, things that might be changed. Now, look, there's one thing I actually do really like: the reduction of detention center beds, because I don't think that we should be detaining immigrants. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's a wasteful for taxpayer money, right? And it also helps private prison corporations, and I'm not exactly in favor of those either, right? But as far as border security, look, steel slats, yes, border walls, border fencing, whatever, still kind of a waste of money. But, look, if they actually increase some security at, for example, legal checkpoints to check for drugs, okay, look, I'm not too opposed for that. But if you actually want to take on drugs, especially the opioid epidemic, right, which Donald Trump falsely attributes to, oh, they're coming over the border with these opioids. No, that's not true at all. No, we've got drug dealers in the United States that have killed far more people than the drug cartels and than MS-13. You know what they call them? Big Pharma. But of course, look, and if you want to take them on, it sounds crazy, right? Sounds crazy, but what we should do to take them on, Big Pharma, is to legalize and regulate old drugs. Now, that actually doesn't take on Big Pharma. We should, yes, actually take them on as well, but I meant the cartels, right? You want to take on the cartels, you want to take the power away from the hands of the cartels, you legalize and regulate all drugs. Big Pharma, well, there's other things we can do to take them on, right? But of course, they're not going to do that, right? So, look, in the absence of actually taking on the real problem, right, there are some drugs that do get through legal points of entry. So I'm not exactly against increasing funding for, people, down at the border that are actually checking and making sure that those drugs don't actually get through. It's kind of a Band-Aid, really, and that's all we ever get from establishments, right? Establishment Democrats. So now, is Donald Trump going to sign this? Is he going to agree with this? Well, according to the BBC, some of the president's conservative allies have called this deal garbage. You had Sean Hannity out there saying it's a garbage compromise. You have Representative Mark Meadows, who's the House Freedom Caucus leader. He said that the agreement, quote, failed to address the critical priorities outlined by Border Patrol chiefs. Of course, they want a wall. Now, Ann Coulter, I don't know if she's weighed in yet. Rush Limbaugh, no. However, Trump has weighed in already, and it's not encouraging. Jim Acosta tweeted a quote from the White House from Donald Trump. Specifically, he said, quote, "I'm not happy about it. It's not doing the trick." But he didn't say whether he would sign it or not. But again, that's not encouraging. Here we go again. As I mentioned before, congressional Republicans really don't want another shutdown. Why? It's politically disastrous. I mean, look how much their approval rating dropped during the last shutdown, right? But unfortunately for them, they have Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is a really stupid person. He is not a very stable genius, okay? He's dumb enough to get us into another shutdown. And the clock's ticking right now. Tick tock, right? We are running out of time. We have till Friday to get a deal. Oh, shit. I shouldn't have said that. My apologies. I'm trying not to swear in my videos. But look, he is dumb, and I'm very, very worried that we will have another shutdown because Trump is deeply stupid. He's not a smart person. I can't stress enough how dumb he really is. And he's also incredibly stubborn and believes that he is right. That combination of arrogance, ignorance is just not good for the country. So I worry that there will be another government shutdown. And if that's the case, our government workers, they can't handle another shutdown. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.